Welcome back to my channel at The Movie Optimist, where I try and find the silver linings in even the worst of films. I want to go over something that's been kind of bothering me a little bit lately. So I put out a video talking about why the Predator Badlands movie that's coming out being PG-13 isn't a bad thing. And whew, have I gotten a lot of pushback on that from a lot of different people and even some of my own friends. And I just want to briefly talk about here why I think a PG-13 rating is okay for a movie like Predator Badlands. A lot of people are under the assumption, which I understand, that they're making this PG-13 to water it down to appeal to more audiences. They want more kids to show up. They want more four-quadrant families to be able to show up and watch this as just an action movie. And I don't necessarily think that that's true here. Now, if that is the case, if that is what has happened and they have watered it down and the violence is so diluted that it could just be PG or PG-13, then sure, we have every right to be upset about that because the Predator was built on its insane, gory violence and coarse language, very strong language, fuck, shit, asshole, whatever the case may be. This is what we've come to know from the Predator franchise. So, like I said, if they water it down, you have every right to be mad. But my perspective of this was, I like to think of this as the glass half full, where everybody that hears the PG-13 rating, I'm sure they think this because they've been burned before, where a franchise they loved got a PG-13 version of it that was watered down. I'm not saying that hasn't happened ever. I get that this has happened, which is why people are afraid of the PG-13 rating, especially when it comes to horror movies, because then they pull back on the blood and stuff like that. But that's a very pessimistic way of looking at it as a whole, whereas I'm choosing to look at the glass half full version of it. It's not like Dan Trachtenberg is coming into this for the first time, taking a Predator franchise that's known for being rated R and going, we're making it PG-13. The last two films he made, Prey and Predator Killer of Killers on Hulu, were both hardcore rated R. They were very violent, very brutal. There were curses in it. He did not shy away from giving the fans exactly what they wanted from Predator. And now we get this one, Predator Badlands, where he straight up said in an interview, they wrote the film, directed the film, and shot the film to be rated R, but it's still got a PG-13 rating. And a lot of people are up in arms about it, saying, oh, they watered it down. And I'm here to say, I don't believe that after everything Dan Trachtenberg has done in the Predator franchise, that he has any reason to dilute it. It's not like a rated R Predator movie has never done well. They have. So there's a track record to show that people want R-rated versions of this. So why is it PG-13? Movies in America get rated R ratings based off of strong, bloody violence, strong language, and strong nudity / sexuality. Now, you only have this little box that can go in the trailer of a movie or the poster of a movie, but if you look into it, if you do some research and you research the full R rating, it is strong, bloody, gruesome violence against human beings, people that we could look at and recognize as one of our own, and we see the harm come to them, the blood, the guts getting ripped out, the spine getting ripped out. It's recognizable to us because we're human beings. That's when it gets an R rating. It gets an R rating when they say things like shit and fuck and asshole, because those are curses in our dictionary that we as people in America understand. Boobs. You see some nipple, you get an R rating because that's nudity. People in America understand the human body and what is right and wrong to show in public, and boobs, unfortunately, is not one of the things we could just walk around with at all times. But the R rating only applies to any of those when it takes place with human beings on planet Earth. Every Predator movie before this one has taken place on Earth where the Predators, well, not Predators, the Robert Rodriguez film, but it still had humans versus Predators in it. So when there was violence in the movie, it was against human beings, warranted that R rating. This is the first time a Predator movie is taking place on an alien planet where the Predator is battling other aliens. In the film, there appears to be a human, but it's actually a cyborg in Ellie Fanning, where she's like cut in half and you see all the wires hanging out from her. If that was a human being, rated R. You see in the trailer that the Predator literally slides under an alien and cuts his belly open and guts fall out. You see him decapitating an alien. You see him stabbing an alien through the face. You see him shooting an alien. You see him doing this. You see him doing that. But it's PG-13, so it has to be watered down, right? No, because Hollywood doesn't care when it's alien on alien violence. That's not what gets the rated R rating. Optimus Prime in Transformers, a children's movie, goes up to a Decepticon, which to us is just a robot, but it actually is a sentient life form that's just made of machine instead from a different planet. Transformers are in fact aliens. Optimus Prime goes up to a Decepticon, shoves his fist inside the thing's stomach and rips its spine out with its head still attached, and you have the oil or blood, whatever you want to call the Decepticon insides. They're spewing out, exploding all over the place. face, and it gets a PG-13 rating. What is different from that kill than the Predator ripping a spine out of a human being? Well, the difference is one is a human and one is a robot. You have Will Smith shooting robots in their brains in iRobot, and the computer chips, or whatever you want to call them, are exploding out of the back of their head, but it's PG-13. You can make movies that are hyper violent with blood and guts and still get a PG-13 rating as long as it's not against humans. And my argument to you all that are upset about the PG-13 rating is, what is the difference? If you're getting the spine getting ripped out and you're getting the blood and the guts, who cares if it's rated R or not if you're still getting that same level of violence? And again, it's PG-13 because it's against an alien, which is something foreign to us, and our rating system of America doesn't care unless it's only human beings. To go into the cursing aspect of it, fuck to us is a curse word. Why would the Predator use the word fuck if it's from a different planet where that's probably not even in a word in its language? They could literally create their own terminology and their own curse word to have them use in the film, but it's not rated R for us because it's not something we understand. And even if you see an alien boob, it's an alien boob. It's not a human boob. There's no reason to make it rated R. And some guy was like, oh, well, you know, animes are rated R when they show nudity and they have aliens in it and this, that, and the other thing. And I said to the guy that said this to me, yeah, but you can't even show boob in China without it getting blurred out. Like, the rating system of other countries is different than ours. I'm not making an argument for the entire world's rating system. Other countries don't allow tobacco in some of their movies. Other countries don't allow boobs in their movies. Other countries don't allow a lot of things in their movies. Our country allows everything in the movies. It's just if it's going to have everything, it's rated R, but only if it's against human beings. So I implore you, I understand why it's easy to get upset over the PG-13 rating, but Dan Trachtenberg has done nothing but show us he understands his franchise and he is a fan just as much as we are. He's only delivered us good products, so why should we doubt him now, especially when he's saying they had every intention of it being rated R, but when they presented the movie that they shot to the rating system, they said, no, it's alien on alien violence. It doesn't need to be rated R. It's PG-13. Why are you choosing to look at it so negatively? Isn't that silly to just go into it without even seeing it and judging it based off of a rating? I'm not saying I'm right, but what if I am? You're going to deprive yourself of watching a good science fiction, super violent movie because of a stupid rating? Doesn't that seem silly? Make your own opinion. Trust in Dan Trachtenberg. He has a good track record in this franchise, and if what he says is true, and you take what I'm saying seriously, you're still going to get the Predator movie that you want. I implore you to give it a chance and not freak out about this. I promise you, it's going to be just as violent as you want a Predator film to be. But what do you guys think? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. Maybe you still just don't care. For whatever reason, even though you're going to get blood and guts and spines getting ripped out and people getting skinned alive, you still just want that R rating stamped on it for whatever fucking reason, even though it pretty much is rated R. It just doesn't need to be because it's aliens. But what say you? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And as always, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you next time.